Good evening to Jim Neely.
It's good evening, Stephen, and a very happy new year. You know, at about 7 o'clock this morning, I was really worried that this game might not happen, but the wind has dropped, the rain has gone away, the pitch is in pretty good condition, and just about perfect for running rugby on this first game of 2014. 12 changes on the Munster side, 6 changes up front. Paul O'Connell reunited with his old buddy Donnacha O'Callaghan, Tommy O'Donnell, Peter Mahoney in the back row. Late switch of the wings. Andrew Conway's moved to the left, Ronan O'Mahony to the right, and watch out for the danger man Casey Laulala in the middle of the park for Munster. Well, this time last year it was Ulster who were occupying the top spot, having lost only once. Hard to believe that over a year has elapsed since these two sides last met at the end of December down in Thomond Park. But it is a big night for Ulster. 4 pretty tough games in a row. They've gone down to Leinster. They've got Munster here tonight, Montpellier, followed by a trip to the Leicester Tigers in the Heineken Cup. Look at determination on the faces of all the Ulster players. And a packed Ravenhill, something in the region of close to 14,000 people here this evening. And another couple of months' time, the stadium will be complete and the capacity will be up to over 18,000. Robbie Dyack captains the Ulster side for the 4th time this year. Coming back, Irish internationals Chris Henry and Ian Henderson, and Tom Court in the front row, and John Afoa back from his most recent sojourn in his native New Zealand. Just the 2 changes behind the scrum, and the 2 men who came on at the RDS last week and made quite a difference. Ruan Pienaar playing at scrum half and Jared Payne playing at fullback. Otherwise, it's the same Ulster back division. Fair bit of talent on both replacement panels, notably BJ Bota, formerly of Ulster, now of course with Munster. One of the best referees in the world in the last couple of decades, Alain Roland, doing his 62nd league game, capped 3 times for Ireland as a scrum half, and with more than 40 appearances for his native Leinster. Product of Blackrock College. Paddy Jackson, product of Methodist College, with the kick-off. And this is where Munster are good. Sheridan looking for a runner.
Hands white!
Good Ulster defence. Alain Roland telling Ulster to get their hands out of it initially. Back to Keatley. Jackson gets underneath that. Seems to have been knocked forward by Ulster. Referee playing advantage to Munster. Stephen Archer, the tight head, makes a bit of ground. Still advantage. Well laid back Sheridan. Keatley not wearing the protective headgear. That's a good kick by Keatley. Clattering tackle by Andrew Conway on Craig Gilroy. Ball has gone into touch, and the first line of the evening goes to Munster, who've started on a pretty lively manner.
Yeah, conditions conducive to playing some open rugby, looking for the crossfield kick on this occasion. Excellent take by Gilroy. That physical, attritional nature that Munster bring to the contest is going to be evident here tonight. Good conditions for running rugby, but again, it's going to be the physical aspect that decides this. The breakdown is going to be hotly contested. The passion that comes with that interprovincial rivalry, expect that to be on display tonight.
It was in fact Ronan O'Mahony wearing 14, originally named as 11, that made the tackle on Craig Gilroy. This is Damien Barley, one of an all-international front row trio. Good take at the back by the skipper. Keatley into a little bit of space, cleverly done. Cave's little offload was perhaps a little bit too quick, but the idea was clever. And plenty of white shirts have got round to set that ball up. Ruan Pienaar, Jackson.
Stand.
A fair old thump. Across comes Felix Jones. I thought that was slightly forward. Keatley. Jackson well positioned. Gilroy looked round outside him. Keatley going for a bit of space, and he's found a bit of space now. That's going to sit up. Taken in by Andrew Conway.
5 for 3-5.
Didn't find touch. Here's the other Andrew Trimble. Looked for half a second, he was through the gap. Pienaar, Jackson, good wide pass. Chris Henry, first game in an Ulster jersey for 8 games, and Ulster get the early penalty. Well taken on by Chris Henry. He looks fit and he looks trim. And a wee bit of nonsense there. And Alan Rowland is not going to take any of that. Pretty sure that was unnecessary. I'm not quite sure what happened.
Yeah, well, early on in the match, they're going to test each other. Some confrontation there in the back row. That battle's going to be key. He who dominates that breakdown gets quality of possession, can play with the tempo that they want.
Listen, what's exactly what I'm going to say, okay? We're only 3 minutes in and we've already had a situation, okay? Well, it won't be tolerated for the course of this game. Keep the discipline. You lead by example, please. Shot signals.
Well, Peter O'Mahony and his opposite skipper, Robbie Jack, been spoken to in no uncertain terms. A bit of holding of the ball, and actually it was the two captains themselves, the two respective number 6 as well. And then everybody decided to put in their tuppence worth. Good drive it was initially by Chris Henry. O'Mahony came in from an offside position, threw the ball behind him, and Dyack obviously took exception to something, and Chris Henry got involved. But nobody got hurt. Interesting, it's Ruan Pienaar starting the kicking for Ulster. He needs to bring that in, and he's done just that, and that's the start that certainly Ulster would have wanted. Munster transgressed, and Ruan Pienaar has punished them. 406 league points for Ruan Pienaar, but crucially in this crucial game for both sides, Ulster taking the lead. Good strike.
A lot of respect being shown by both teams. A lot of kicking for field position, testing each other out early on. Ulster's opportunity now on this kick-off receipt.
Keatley puts it long, and Roger Wilson half in and half outside his 22. And they've gone outside the 22, so Pienaar, he's curled that infield. That's a nasty testing kick. Up goes Trimble. Knocked back by on the Ulster side. Well in by Chris Henry. Made a difference already. Luke Marshall. Jackson. Looked a bit flat. Here comes Jared Payne. Clever kick for Gilroy to chase. Gilroy puts the foot on the gas. Was he held? I think he was. The referee's got his hand out. Is he going to go for the penalty try? Well, it'll be touch and go if it was a penalty try, but it may well be a yellow card. A deliberate pullback by Munster.
I'm going to have a look.
And Alan Rowland is going to have a look. A couple of decisions. Would it have been a try, and does it warrant a sin binning?
Well, excellent work by Payne, dropping that one through. The pace of Gilroy comes into play. He looks to have got his foot to it first.
I need to talk to TMO. I've no contact with TMO.
Well, Ivan Deneen did the blocking. Gilroy had the legs of him.
Will you wait?
And he tried to control it, and he was prevented from controlling it.
Before I do anything.
And I can hear Alan Rowland saying he doesn't have contact
Roberts,
with the TMO.
Okay, I got you there now.
Brian McNeese
Before
can hear him.
Situation, can you have a look with white 14 in the air if there was a knock-on over here? If you don't deem to have a knock-on over here, we'll then have a look at what happened here, okay?
Okay.
From the kick, thank you.
Okay, I'll have a look for the knock-on first, and then we'll deal with the other one.
Payne around the corner, gave him that space, and summing up the situation very quickly, seeing no cover in behind, he put that wonderfully placed rubber through, and we'll see what eventuates from this decision.
Well, the touch judge, Nigel Correll on the far side, had his flag out straight away, and they're asking, was that a knock-on by white 14, who was Andrew Trimble, and it wasn't the case. And Luke Marshall got it away well. Jackson had to jump a little bit. That was the flat pass, and look at Payne looking for every opportunity, and Gilroy showed everybody a clean pair of heels.
On the knock-on.
That was definitely a piece of foul play, but what will the outcome be? Trimble came back over his shoulder into the hands of Henry. It didn't look forward from here anyway.
The ball went forward there. Yeah.
Up went Felix Jones, up went Andrew Trimble. Where did the ball go?
No.
Well, it didn't do anything. It was still in the air, so Chris Henry did absolutely nothing wrong. I don't think Andrew Trimble knocked that forward, but the decision's going to be with Brian McNeese, the TMO. What do you think, Ryan?
Looks to have gone backwards. If you see where Trimble lands, where the ball is in relation to him, I wouldn't imagine there's any issue with that.
Not clear and obvious. Okay, move over to here and let's have a look at this one.
So the knock-on is not clear and obvious.
Here, please.
This is now the more serious infringement. There's the clever chip through, a little bit of blocking too by Casey Laulala. Gilroy, he sort of half checked a little bit. Now, did he reverse back into Dineen? When you look at it again, well, it may be a penalty, but I don't think it's cardable.
No, and you're allowed to jostle for position as you're chasing that ball. There's no issue with that. Doesn't look as though anyone's grabbed a jumper, so we may not get interference at all.
I think that's the crucial thing. There was no real contact with the hands by Ivan Dineen.
I'm just going to check it once more, Rollers, and then I'll give you a decision.
Yeah, okay, thanks.
The TMO Brian McNeice is having one more look at it. There's been a sale somewhere of red and white striped hats, for some of them may well be Munster hats. Well, Gilroy had the legs of Dineen. Now, did Dineen grab him? He did at the end of it. But was there sufficient contact, A, to warrant a penalty? The referee seems to think it was, but will it be a yellow card?
Yes, Bomber.
Yeah, Elaine, there was contact, so I would go with the penalty decision, your original penalty decision.
Okay.
No more than that.
My question is, if there was interference and there was a penalty, was there a possibility that a try would have been scored if not for that interference?
I don't think it's certain that a try would have been scored.
Okay, it's not probable. Okay, we'll just go for the penalty here. Time back on.
So no penalty try, no sin binning, but Ulster do have the penalty. And
Yes,
controversy in terms of fisticuffs and controversy in terms of decision.
Yeah, I think that's probably a fair result. It's a measured response. They've looked at all the angles, and I think they've come up with the appropriate sanction.
Well, it was a fair piece of enterprise by Ulster following a delicious kick by Ruan Pienaar. Here's Herring. Good take at the back by Ulster's skipper, Robbie Dyack. Ulster trying to do a Munster, and Munster wise to it. Well, surely there was a man came in from an offside position. The penalty has been given. Referee's playing advantage. Pienaar gets it away. Paddy Jackson, little chip kick through. Here's Payne. He's got it, Payne! What a kick by Jackson. What a finish by Payne. What a try by Ulster.
Well, when you have the penalty advantage, you need to try something speculative. No point just going through the phases. Go for one of those speculative options that come with high reward, because you know you've got the option of going back for three, and that looks to be the perfectly placed kick.
Well, the penalty was coming anyway for a Munster offside, but Ulster went with it. There's that beautiful kick by Paddy Jackson, who just leaned back, and Payne straight through like an arrow. That has to be a try, and indeed it is.
It won't take too many looks at the replay to see that Jared Payne has forced that one down, but excellent position from the kick. It was purposefully put on the outside shoulder. It gave Jared Payne a clean run through and sight of the ball the whole way, and perfectly executed.
Thank you.
Well, Ulster felt they were denied a try, perhaps a penalty try, but no mistake about that one. It did have to be referred, but the referral has proved that it was indeed a perfectly good try for Jared Payne, his 9th try in this league competition since he came from his native New Zealand. What a signing this boy has been. And here's Pienaar, and you can say exactly the same about him, and he adds the extra points. And we have played just over 6 minutes, and Ulster 10-0 up.
And this Ulster crowd are certainly engaged in this match. A 10-0 lead after 6 minutes. They'll be absolutely delighted with that, and in full song as we speak.
Well, Munster will no doubt come straight back. Clever little variation by Keatley. Well taken by Dan Toohey. Paul O'Connell in the middle of all that, getting a bit of attention from the men in white. And that's good work by Munster from that restart. O'Connell just got in there, and Dan Toohey couldn't get the ball to ground. What a man he's been for Munster. He and his fellow second row partner started more than 60 games as a second row partnership for Ireland. First scrum of the evening, 7 minutes gone. Ulster leading by 10 points to 0. Cathal Sheridan about to put in John O'Foa on the Ulster head side, off to pastures new next season. Likewise Tom Court, so also left to replace two pretty good front row forwards. Penalty against Ulster, taking it down. Should be 3 straightforward points. Anna Roland not taking any nonsense. He's a very good referee or front row, and he was saying that Tom Court's side went down, and Tom Court guilty of taking it down, and the penalty to Munster, which should allow them to come back. Tom Court not happy at all. So first scrum, and Ulster concede a penalty and possibly 3 points.
An opportunity for Munster to get back into this game, isolated on the scoreboard. Good opening exchange from them, but they'll be very keen that this margin of 10 is reduced very quickly.
Last couple of games, the ever-improving JJ Hanrahan has been wearing the number 10 shirt with great effect for Munster. He's carrying a bit of a leg injury, so it's Ian Keatley, Irish international, got a couple of caps in the North American Tour in the summer of 2009. Just a claw back, 3 valuable points for the visitors. Well struck, and he's pushed it wide. Well, it sounded all right, it looked okay, and he just pulled it to the left-hand post, and that's a let-off for Ulster.
It certainly is. Would have been a cheap 3 points to concede. Ulster now with the opportunity with this clearance from the 22. Good chasing line set up. Paddy Jackson gives it a good hoof.
He's given it a huge hoof. Taken in by Munster. Munster into the Ulster half. Sheridan, Keatley. Good defence by Ulster in the middle of the park. Sheridan gets it away. Keatley back in position. Felix Jones. Double tackled by Marshall and Darren Cave. Stephen Archer. Again, it's Tui makes the hit. Ian Henderson suspiciously offside. Back inside to Casey Lalala, born off to Racing Club next year. Bound for Racing Club, I was about to say. Here come Munster again. Nicely done. Here's Deneen. Score of a late try here at Ravenhill a couple of 3 seasons ago. Roger Wilson just timed that to perfection and no more. But Munster are keeping the ball very nicely, and they're switching direction into the Ulster half yet again. They haven't made any progress, but they've still got possession. Here's Keatley. Little sidestep from the industrious Peter O'Mahony, Munster's skipper. Keatley. Ulster up very quickly and cut off the exit route to Keatley's left. Referee having a good look. Darren Cave comes through. Did he come through the middle? Looks like it. Still there for Munster, but it's slow ball. Away by Donnacha O'Callaghan. Dave Kilcoyne, the loose head prop, took it forward for Munster. Cal Sheridan. Jones. Deneen. Gilroy with the covering tackle. And also win the penalty. Well, Munster keeping possession, but not really doing very much with it, thanks to some well-marshalled Ulster defending.
Yeah, excellent defence from Ulster, but noticeable the change that's evolving in Munster's play over the last couple of years. Previously, you would have seen Pod setting up, staying very close to the ruck, playing with a lot more width, a lot more tempo, and really trying to crack this Ulster defence, but certainly Ulster up to it on this occasion.
Well, Paddy Jackson, unfortunately, has gone for length rather than accuracy, and he's kicked the ball dead, and that means they'll come all the way back for a scrum to Munster. So that was an elementary error there that Paddy Jackson will be cross with himself about.
Yeah, it was almost perfect, but almost isn't quite good enough on this occasion, and it's resulted in Ulster now being inside their own half with an opposition feed.
Well, those are the sort of opportunities you really must take. Had that gone to touch, Ulster would have had possession and a chance of maybe another try.
Crouch!
Foa playing his 51st game for Ulster.
Set!
This is his 3rd and last season. Munster just, you may have seen on screen there, marginally the heavier. Ulster freed again at the scrums. That's 2 iffy scrums. Good tackle by Tui on the redoubtable Paul O'Connell. Here's Sheridan. Felix Jones steps inside Andrew Trimble ominously. Sheridan again. Keatley. O'Mahony. Nice little soft offload to Dave Kilcoyne. Munster playing some enterprising rugby. Keatley again. Ulster up quickly. Knocked forward. Donnacha O'Callaghan, as he has done in recent seasons, lurking out in the wing. And when you're 6'6", it's pretty difficult to go down and scoop a ball off your toes.
They'll also be looking for some possession. It's been Munster that have been playing multiple phases, as we see that small error from Donnacha but playing some enterprising stuff, as you say, really using that width. And that'll take its toll defensively on teams if they're forced to go through that workload. It's energy-sapping stuff, and Connacht certainly using that possession very well.
Well, another few months and that will be all singing, all dancing, all seated right at the back.
Crouch!
Fingers crossed, everybody's hoping for a home quarter final in the Heineken Cup, but
Bind!
2 more games will tell the tale of
Set!
if that's going to be the case or not. Scrum's a little bit unsettled at the moment. It's important. John Afoy and Rob Herring has done such a good job deputising for the injured Rory Best, who, like Tommy Bowe, I don't think is too far away from making a return to full fitness and a return to the Ulster, and who knows, the Irish colours, one hopes, for the Six Nations. Into the 14th minute of this game, Ulster 10-0 up. They would settle for that as a final scoreline, I'm pretty sure. Having slipped off the radar a little bit.
Get those heads off each other.
And a run telling the prop forwards not to be locking head to head.
Set!
Like rocking stags out there.
Yes,
And it goes. The better Ulster scrum. Munster try the wheel on. Pienaar away to Jackson. Miss move to Cave. Oh, he should have given that. Held on that a little bit too long. Advantage to Munster because of the knock on. Here's Casey Lailala. Always causes problems. Did when he was at Cardiff and has done at Munster. Little flat pass to Felix Jones. Advantage is over. Tommy O'Donnell, first time he's got the ball in his paws. Keatley, to nobody in particular, but scooped up well by Ivan Dineen. John Afoy makes the tackle.
Stay.
Sheridan, Chris Henry, was he offside? He was. Not by much, but enough.
Wasn't out.
Well, a bit of hesitancy in the Ulster midfield there, where there was a bit of an overlap, and again Darren Cave will be cross with himself over that.
A perfectly timed tackle from Munster, and then whether that ball was out, it certainly looked out, and Chris Henry will certainly feel that that ball was out, and he had every right to leave that defensive line, but it's the man in the middle who makes those decisions, and his is the only opinion that counts.
Well, that was replayed up on the large screens at either end here of Ravenhill, and the crowd oohed and ahed because they thought Chris Henry had just stayed onside, but he didn't. Almost 15 minutes gone. Munster close to Ulster's 22. Damien Varley back on the Ulster side, well taken in. It's a good steal by Ulster. Pienaar, Jackson, Cave gets it away. Delicate little kick once again. Oh, Trimble really in 2 minds. Got his knee to it and nudged it into touch. But a lot of enterprise being shown by Ulster, and a lot of it coming from the man wearing number 15.
Yeah, just summing up the situations, putting the ball on the ground, giving the option. I think it was the bounce of the ball. So we see this excellent double compete from Ulster. Dan Tui, I think it is, who manages to get his hand on there. And then Ulster using the width as that space evaporates. Clever little kick. The bounce just wouldn't sit right for Andrew Trimble, unfortunately.
And again, a little bit of interference by a Munster man. Not enough to warrant the penalty, but that's happened 2 or 3 times. This is Keatley. Wynn just holding it up. Knocked forward and offside. Ball was knocked forward by Andrew Conway, formerly of Leinster, and James Colin touched it, so he was offside, and that's brought the penalty, and that's brought the chance for Ruan Pienaar to have a crack at the post.
There seems to be some wind as we look at this one sitting up. Accidental offside, as you can see it quite clear. The temptation too much, and an opportunity now, Ruan Pienaar from distance, but you feel if that wind cooperates, certainly shouldn't have any issue with that distance.
Well, I've got to say personally, I've always taken a bit of issue with that particular law of the game of rugby union football. It's an instinctive thing to go for the ball, and certainly a free kick perhaps, but a full-blown penalty for something that's sometimes unavoidable is that I've always thought it was a bit tough. However, I don't make the laws. Sometimes I don't even interpret the laws. Pienaar's got underneath that. It needs to come in. What a kick by Pienaar. Ulster perhaps lucky not to have conceded 3 points to Ian Keatley. And that really is almost like a 6-pointer.
And Ulster haven't had the possession really, and maybe somewhat surprised by that 13-0 scoreline, given it's Munster who've had multiple phases inside the Ulster half.
Great take by Paul O'Connell. Ulster just caught napping slightly there by the big man's efforts. Munster rumble forward. Sheridan taken on by Varley. Sheridan, O'Connell. Good tackle by Chris Henry. Sheridan looking for a bit of a gap, finds Loilala. And again, that white line is reasonably firm looking. Here's Varley, bustling hooker, now 30 years of age. Archer helps to set it up. And holding on in the tackle, and Ulster get the penalty.
The Ulster's defence and the work at the breakdown is really what's giving them the leverage in this game.
And what a kick by Ruan Pienaar. That is a fantastic kick. He wasted no time whatsoever, and he's given it such a belt, and he's taken Ulster, well, 3/4 of the length of the field. This was the good piece of Ulster defending. Well, Mahoney came right over, but the man who was in possession held on to it. And already Chris Henry's having a considerable influence in this game. Ulster take it quickly. Fast ball, Pienaar, Roger Wilson, Jackson, Payne, ran a nice angle. Well tackled though by Andrew Conway. And this time it's Ulster give away the penalty.
Tackler, first
Yeah,
man
may
over.
well have been an issue with Conway lying over the ball there. You can hear the Ulster supporters certainly felt that was the reason, but it's gone the other way. And Ulster again not having time in possession, and it's Munster that'll be deep down. It feels like this game's been played between the halfway line and Ulster's 22, but Munster no points to show for all that territory and possession.
Well, Keatley gives it a fair old thump, and that's going to be a Munster line out. Keatley, formerly of Connacht. For him, he played over 70 games. Dudley Phillips, the touch judge, or assistant referee on the near side.
One out! Out!
Ulster have got an extra man in the line out. They didn't spot that Munster had taken somebody out of it. And the referee's going to give a free kick against Ulster. But Munster have got the ball in possession and are on a roll. And that's not a penalty against them.
In the side.
Tui coming in the side, so that free kick
Number 7
has turned into, it was Chris Henry in fact, has turned into a full penalty and a chance for Keatley this time, or again, to get some points.
You had one too many in the line out. I was playing an advantage.
An error from Ulster initially, not counting up in the line out. That gave the short arm, and then an infringement, as we will probably see here, trying to nullify that driving maul. Referee adjudicating Ulster players coming in from the side to try and stop it.
Well, it is good to see Chris Henry back. Missed 7 games with a nasty injury. Now capped 9 times for Ireland. First 3.5 years ago against Australia, most recently in the autumn against this touring Samoans. Having missed one from an easier position, here's Keatley again. Close the gap down to 10 points. And he's gone the other side this time. So Ian Keatley, who's just needs 12 points to go up to 400 in the league, has missed a second pretty straightforward attempt for points for Munster.
And that'll continue to frustrate Munster, given their dominating possession and territory, but they're not getting anything to show for it on the scoreboard. Once again, it's Munster in possession.
Taken on by James Collin. Sheridan, now Keatley. Better pass, Felix Jones, Loilala, a couple of men out wide. Good covering by Luke Marshall. Sheridan again, Keatley. Great work by Dan Tui. Munster still have it. Sheridan readjustment. Keatley. Jonathan O'Callaghan, Ireland's most capped second row forward of all time. Paul O'Connell. Sheridan. Tommy O'Donnell. Good covering again by two. He's put a lot of work in tonight so far. Here's Lolala. Tricky man. Chris Henry covers well. Gets himself out of the way. And Munster give away the penalty. Great work again by Ulster in terms of defence.
Yeah, Luke Marshall on that occasion, excellent work standing over the ball. We've seen Darren Cave in the wider channels and the back row really dominating in that area of the game. Stepped on the inside, Chris Henry's there to cover, and then Luke Marshall gets a brilliant possession over the ball. Strong, hands on the ball, has rights to it, and justifiably is awarded the penalty.
Paddy Jackson not taking any chances, finds the touch. Just on halfway. We're more than halfway through this first half, 23 minutes gone. Ulster leading by 13 points to 0. Could have been a lot different had Ian Keatley nailed two kickable penalties. Ulster's line out, Dan Toohey calling things. Herring. Well, great take by Dyack. Out to Henry. Andrew Trimble off the wing. This is Paddy Jackson. Great enterprise. Payne gets it away to Gilroy. Only half stopped. Bounces down and up again. Pienaar. Cave. To John Afoa. All Black makes good ground. Pienaar again. Luke Marshall. Trimble. Using that great strength of his. Set it up well. Pienaar. Jackson. A few men to spare out here. Here's Cave. Got himself clattered as he ducked down. Hope he's all right. Pienaar pointing something out to the referee, who's having none of it. Well taken by Dan Toohey. Pienaar. Jackson. Luke Marshall. Maybe needed to give that out the back of the hand. He does give it. Here's Herring, who's not slow. Robbie Dyack, Ulster's captain. That line is the Munster 22. Luke Marshall looked a bit flat. Henry was well tackled. But he's presented the ball well. Pienaar. Wilson. Herring. The Dyack, nicely done by Ulster. Some wonderful pieces of sleight of hand. Munster's defence still there. Tom Court drops it. Referee playing advantage, and none comes, and what a pity that was.
There's some excellent crisp passing and wonderful running lines by Ulster in the preceding phases there, playing in those wider channels, those second man plays that they use so efficiently, and wonderful creating the space, offloading in the tackle, scrambling Munster defence, managing to get back. First time Ulster have really got into flow.
Tom Court just couldn't hold that pass. Paul O'Connell, his Irish colleague, was waiting for him. Got an umbrella in sight. I'm delighted to say here on a cold, crisp, but dry January night at Ravenhill.
Crouch! Bind! Set!
Scrum half pulled to put it in. John Afoe might just be taking it down. Dudley Phillips is having a good look in this side. I think maybe he's got Dave Kilcoyne under a fair old bit of pressure here.
Come over here, look. Come over here.
The pitch is soft, but thus far not cutting up in any way, shape or form.
Come closer.
26 minutes gone. 13-0 to Ulster.
You two guys going straight will help everybody in this scrum, okay? Please.
No nonsense approach to scrummaging by Alain Roland.
Bind! Set! No.
Well, Munster giving ground a little bit.
Listen,
that's why I think the referee hasn't freed
okay?
Ulster.
After the engagement, if I don't deem that the legitimate pressure being taken on this side, you're going to be free kicked. I want you to hold whatever pressure. They're not coming through. Hold it here. Here we are.
He's saying that Munster are actually giving ground as opposed to Ulster putting pressure on. And again, that's a good piece of appreciation of what's going on in the front row by Alain Roland.
They've had troubles with this aspect of the game, and he's certainly trying to stamp his authority onto proceedings now.
man who refereed the Rugby World Cup final in 2007. Announced that he's going to retire from competitive rugby at the end of the season in terms of refereeing. Well, that's a nonsense. Free kick against Munster. The referee saying that Munster were at fault for that.
That ball could have gone in. Scrum. Scrum.
Cal Sheridan is told by the referee that he should have got that ball in, and Ulster opted for the scrum.
He had the time to put the ball in before it lowered. Here we are.
Damien Varley protesting his innocence and Munster's innocence. Ooh, that's not good for you. But I wish I had one. And there's Sparky. Hope he's Christmas well. Looks as fit as always, doesn't he? Trying to get the crowd behind him. What a wonderful sight that is. What a change in the last half dozen years, and more to come.
Crouch.
Crucial scrum this now for both sides. Ulster have got Jared Payne and Andrew Trimble out on the near side.
Set. Yes, 9.
And Pienaar does get it in. Strike by Herring. Munster try the wheel. Roger Wilson controls. Leaves it for Pienaar. Now it's Jackson. What's happening here? Cave just hand tripped. Up to the 22. Pienaar again. Robbie Dyack. Good tackle by little Cal Sheridan. Pienaar again. Oh, lovely dummy by the South African. Ivan Dineen was the man who eventually got to him. John Afoe at scrum half. Dan Tui is first receiver. Again, good Munster defending. Pienaar, Jackson, Cave, Luke Marshall has a good thrust himself, and he's got back up onto his feet again. Good work by Jared Payne. Ulster have it. Henry tries to squeeze under Paul O'Connell. Pienaar again. Robbie Dyack, good pressure now by the Ulsterman. Pienaar back inside to Ian Henderson. First time we've seen him with ball in hand. Pienaar again. Dan Tui would love to score against this Munster side. Great defence by Damien Varley. And Ulster going right off their feet and giving away a penalty when the line was at the mercy of the Ulsterman.
8, flopping in, no need. Stay on your feet,
Roger Wilson,
please.
the man who just came off his feet and sort of flopped down on top of things. And that was a pity, Ryan, because Ulster really looked to be well in possession and well in control of this game.
Yeah, making some great ground around the fringes there from Pienaar on that occasion. We see Tui taking this one into contact. Managed to get driven backwards there by, and then Roger Wilson flying in without much regard for his own safety, let alone the Munster players, obviously, but correctly picked up on that infringement, and the pressure relieved again.
Well, it's a fair old journey from the southwest of this island, but they've travelled further than this, I can tell you. In recent years, the Munster travelling fans have been well, one of the great highlights of European rugby, certainly. Cal Sheridan's got a bit of a bang in his knee, and Donnacha O'Callaghan, the indestructible, it seems, Donnacha O'Callaghan, who signed another 2-year deal at the age of 34. Well, Ulster were close to a try, but they did finally conjure one up, and look at this. Paddy Jackson put that on the proverbial sixpence. Jared Payne's finish was perfect. Donnacha O'Callaghan has gone off the field, and Dave Foley has come on, the man who played in all 3 games for the emerging Ireland side in the Tbilisi Cup in Georgia last summer. That's a bit of a blow, but Keighley strikes a mighty blow with the foot. As he found his touch, he hasn't, you know. Craig Gilroy, a bit surprised to get that from his skipper Robbie Dyack. Pienaar, narrow side, clever little chip. Oh, that's nearly gathered. Well, fine piece of acceleration there by the big fella himself, Ian Henderson. Just an example of how quick he really is.
Yeah, real athlete, pushed into service in the second row, but just showing that pace on the outside. Ball was out.
Couldn't quite control it. Foley straight on the field, takes it very nicely indeed. Accomplished footballer. Ball is in at the back for Sheridan, has a wee glance to see what's available. Sensibly puts it down the field, and it's gone into touch, but he was well inside his 22. So it's an Ulster line out. So under 10 minutes to go, and the scoreboard hasn't moved on from the 17th minute. Well, it's still fairly contemplative. Mark Ansky in the middle of all that, and to his right Neil Doak, and then Alan Clark, Chief Executive Shane Logan, and on his left Johnny Bell. Ulster's line-out, bit untidy. Back on the Ulster side, play on, says the referee. Poor pass, well picked up by Marshall, tackled by Lalala. That's just about perfect from Cave, and that wasn't perfect from Trimble to Payne. Forward pass, and scrum to Munster. Jared Payne is so enthusiastic, and sometimes he gets there before the ball does.
A tight call for that to be forward, but once again, referee's call. Players have to abide by it. Munster will be disappointed if they had have got that very kickable 6 points, 13-6 margin. It's Ulster playing with the wind behind their back, a luxury that Munster will have in the second half. Expect Ulster to have to carry a lot more ball in that second half as they adapt their tactics to the different climatic conditions they'll face in the second half.
Well, in terms of territorial advantage, Ulster must be 75-80%. In the opposition half. There's a bit of an injury, and Cathal Sheridan, the Munster scrum half, is getting an awful lot of strapping to his right leg, I think.
All right.
The ambition's certainly been there from both teams, both employing that second man type play, trying to hold defenders in the inside channels, create width in the outside channel, get those one-on-ones where the fleet-footed backs can try and create some line breaks and finish them off. But it's been very good defence from both teams thus point. That's denied this multiple phase tactics of breaking down the defensive line.
Young Pavan going great guns at Ravenhill. Sheridan has to get it in. He does get it in. Also got a good squeeze on. Well done by Sheridan. Gets it to Deneen. Misses out Lalala Keatley. This is enterprising Felix Jones. Trimble covers, good pick up by Trimble, and Trimble gets away. Trimble puts the foot on the gas. Here goes Trimble. He's got Marshall with him. Marshall for the corner. Good covering though by Munster. Marshall hauled down 2 or 3 metres away. Ulster very much in the front foot. Pienaar, Jackson, Roger Wilson into O'Mahony. Oh, and they've spilled the ball. Well, that was very unfortunate for Ulster. No need for that at all. Referee had played advantage, and Ulster had the advantage. Here comes Jared Payne. Oh, loping run by Payne. Gets it to Marshall. Gets it out wide now to Henderson. Holds off the tackle of Cathal Sheridan. Still a chance for Ulster before the interval for a second try. Pienaar, Jackson, wide ball, Wilson, Dan Tui. Well clattered though by Lalala. Pienaar again. Jackson, surely. Jackson has to go himself. Just held up, he had men outside him. It still might work. Pienaar, John Afoa. He drives, he gets there. The flag is up. The flag is up. The touch judge, Dudley Phillips, has his flag up, I think. And it's going to be a line out. Well, Ulster did everything but score there.
Yeah, created some exceptional opportunities there, but just unable to finish. Some desperate Munster defence, but what an exciting passage of play. End-to-end stuff. Ulster exploiting the width. Big hits coming in, particularly Lalala on Tui was a massive hit, and just that desperation in defence has kept Munster in this.
Well, Paddy Jackson should have given this. He had Trimble there, he had a couple of men out wide. Trimble came in on the angle, a little inside pass, and Trimble was in, and Afoa held up one, held up a second, and I think he got the outside foot just in touch. We can see this one a little bit more closely. There he is. Oh, toe out on the line. Yep, good call by Dudley Phillips.
There's some immense strength shown by Afoa as he shrugs off the first player, and then just as he repositions his feet for that last push to the line, just touched that whitewash.
Denied the try by his fellow All Black, Casey Lalala. With 6 minutes remaining. Well taken by Paul O'Connell. When in doubt, close to your line, throw it to the mountain. Crowd behind Ulster, hoping to get the squeeze on. Somebody's clambering right over, and that's illegal.
6, you can't do that.
Bobby Dayak told he can't do that. You've got to go through, but you can't. It's not the Grand National or Beecher's Brook where you've got to try to climb a fence. And Bobby Dayak gets himself penalised. pressure off a little bit. Munster will get the line. Now that hasn't found touch. Here's Trimble. Now Jared Payne. Off he goes himself. Trimble doing a bit of crossing. Ulster making it very hard for themselves, Ryan. They're committing a lot of, not just silly errors, but a lot of silly offences.
I'll talk to him, not to you. Not another word.
Paul O'Connell putting in his tuppence worth, I think, and Alan Rowland reminding him that he's not the captain, that he'll talk to the captain, Peter O'Mahony, but he won't talk to him.
Don't push me. Away you go. Oh, we'll look at it.
It's Ulster that are creating the opportunities now. Multiple visits into the Munster 22, creating try-scoring opportunities, plenty of line breaks, but just that last final pass or that push for the line, the error comes, Munster are able to clear their lines.
I think Cal Sheridan is going off, and Duncan Williams will probably come on. Ulster have had chances, Ryan, to have put this game to bed by now, to be quite honest.
Yeah, they were quite fortunate in the early exchanges when Munster were dominating territory and possession, that they were the ones accumulating points on the scoreboard. But certainly in this last 10 minutes, it's been all Ulster. They're creating the opportunities, just not finishing them off and showing on the scoreboard the dominance they've had in this last 10-15 minutes.
Duncan Williams on for his 58th Munster appearance. Cal Sheridan, who's had a couple of pretty useful games, has gone off with a leg injury. Well taken to the back by Munster. Tommy O'Donnell got above everyone.
Once.
Good Munster drive. Williams. That's well done by Andrew Conway, formerly of Leinster.
Stay.
Slow ball, Williams digs it out. Farley. Great tackling by Ulster.
Stay.
Williams again. It's all very flat. Keighley tried to get through, and again Ulster closed the door. But it's looking a bit more promising for Munster. Did Williams knock that forward? It doesn't matter, he has knocked it forward now. Here's Jackson. Payne pops up inevitably. Payne has a go. Payne gets through. Here goes Payne. Bit of obstruction there. Out to Trimble. Now can he finish it? Trimble goes, gets it out again. Here they go. It's a try for Darren Cave. What a finish to the first half. One of the tries of the season. A true team try, finished off by a true team player in Darren Cave.
There's some excellent work, and it was the recognition early on in that move to get the ball to the player coming from speed at depth that would allow them to create that opportunity with the mismatch in the wider channel that Jared Payne took. And it's that pass from Paddy Jackson that sets Jared Payne loose. He sums up the mismatch, makes the most, and then tries to assess his options in who's supporting. Trimble does the right thing by coming back inside, and then it's just that support flooding through, and Darren Cave coming from depth. Plenty of players willing to finish that one off.
Rowan Pienaar delighted with his outside centre's try scoring. Try number 14 in this league competition, and Munster have got another player injured, and it looks like Damien Varley is going to leave the field as we concentrate on the conversion from Rowan Pienaar. So the very inexperienced Duncan Casey is likely to come on, and there he is. Nicely struck. Oh, not nicely, beautifully struck by Rowan Pienaar from the tightest of angles. The 74 times capped South African has landed a second conversion, and Ulster, with about 2 minutes of the first half remaining, are now 20-0 up.
And important that Ulster had something to show from that period of dominance. The last 15 minutes, they've been camped in Munster's 22. Desperate defences denied them. They've managed to unlock that now and in a commanding position heading into half-time.
Well taken by the aggressive Tui.
Yeah, two
and immediately
entry.
The penalty's given away.
Number 2 white, side entry.
Rob Herring, I've got to say, very stupidly has given away the penalty. He knows that. He knows that. There's no excuse for that. And to touch then, chance for Munster to get something by half-time. Ulster would like to make this first half, to use American football parlance, a complete shutout. Munster will have other ideas, and there's a man who's made such a difference, as he has done in so many games since he arrived from New Zealand. Well, unfortunately for Munster, they've had to make 3 replacements, all because of injuries. Well taken by one of those replacements. Here's Duncan Williams, Tommy O'Donnell. Good tackle by Herring. Duncan Williams. Ulster, their defence is going to be tested now. Munster will not lie down, and certainly they won't want to leave Ravenhill with their tails between their legs.
Thank you.
Ulster get their defence right again in the shape of their skipper Robbie Dyack. Duncan Williams to the narrow side. Foley, who's been busy since he came on. Williams again looking for Archer, who misses out Archer. Kilcoyne takes it forward. Good work by the loose head. Williams again, busy stuff. Oh, Keatley's got away from the first tackle. Here's Deneen, he should have given that. He might not need to, he scored. First tackle was missed, and Ulster have conceded a try to Munster, which will give the men from Munster an awful lot of heart for the second half.
Yeah, 20-0 at half-time. Ulster were totally in control of this match, giving up 5 and potentially 7. Just gives them a way in with the wind behind. It was a number of phases. They've done it very well. It's just Keatley who gets on the outside, and then it's a clinical finish by that man, Ivan Deneen. Just as he sees the space, comes off the right, left foot, finds a space. Pinar in cover, but not enough to stop him. Ulster's line speed has been incredibly good throughout this game. You can tell a lot from where they are emotionally for this game. They're up for that physical contact, but outthought by Munster on this occasion.
Well, Ivan Deneen was the man who snatched victory here for Munster 4 seasons ago in his first ever start. And has he landed a crucial blow for the current league leaders? We shall see. Keatley, who's missed with a couple of penalties, really needs to nail this conversion. And don't bet against him. Oh, he has not brought the boots to Ravenhill. What a first half it's been. A first half, well, at the end of which Ulster probably should have put Munster to bed. Chances were missed. There's Tommy Bowe and Stephen Ferris just standing beside the players' tunnel there. But what a good first half it's been. Back came Munster with a try of her own, followed by a couple of cracking tries by Ruan Pinar and Darren Cave, a couple of conversions and a couple of penalties by Ruan Pinar. Not a bad Ulster effort. They'll settle for that.
Yeah, Munster came ready to play, and they did that in the first half. It was Ulster's defence that denied them. They took their opportunity at the first option they got inside Munster's 22 with the Jared Payne try, but then it was a period of dominance from Ulster. They went through phases, they created opportunities, they finished one. Small glimmer of hope for Munster at the end of this half.
By no means done and dusted, but not a bad scoreline, which reads Ulster 20 and Munster 5.
Well, we hope, like the sellout crowd at Ravenhill on this chilly night, you've been enjoying a lively, competitive Irish derby. It's been a little stop-start at time, littered with penalties and a little feisty as well. But it's the home team who are on top. Superb score by Jared Payne. Ian Keatley's having an off night with the boot, but Ruan Pinar certainly isn't. He hasn't missed one yet. John Afoa almost scored before half-time. Cave did get the touchdown, but the Ulster defence was breached by Munster, and it's game on in the second half. It's Ulster 20, Munster 5. Well, Eddie O'Sullivan and Andy Ward have been enjoying that first half with me. Eddie, give us your assessments of how things panned out there.
Well, I think Ulster will be a little bit miffed themselves going in at half-time with just a 13-point lead. They seemed to land a killer blow just at the end of the half, and then they lost concentration for whatever reason, made a mistake, and they've thrown Munster a lifeline. Because for the first 40 minutes, you can see that Munster were in trouble throughout. Ulster were dominating on defence. The defence was rock solid, and when they had possession, they were going forward. They fluffed a few chances, but they seem to be getting there. But I think they'll be pretty upset having given away that soft try just for the half.
And will Ulster also be upset that they probably could have scored even more points in that first half?
Funny, that's what we were just after saying there. Honestly, I think there's 2 definite tries they've left out there. So, you know, those are opportunities they've got to take. I know we can be a little bit critical on times on the Ulster team, but listen, they're creating them. That's a far cry from where they were last week.
Yeah, much better than last week, I would say.
It's a much better performance. I think they'll be happy with performance, but they won't be that happy with the scoreline given the opportunities they've created.
Yeah. Okay, lots to talk through. Let's have a look at Ulster's opening try. It could have been a penalty try. Yes, no. Andy, first of all.
I don't know if it was going to be a penalty try, to be honest. It wasn't. There was a little bit of crossing over, but I don't think it was enough to warrant a penalty try. The ball also made a bit of a dodgy bounce towards the last, but the thought process to go forward here, it's a lovely weighted kick by Jared Payne again. There's a little bit of there, and listen, we've seen these given Lenny's a time, but in hindsight, looking back, they did take the time over it, and I think there was a lot of deliberation on it.
Yeah, I think it was a fair call, a penalty. It wasn't a penalty try or yellow card, but this one here, Tommy O'Donnell has just loses his head here and goes in the side, gives away a needless penalty. And I think it's interesting that Ulster knew they had a freebie here. And it was a beautiful kick, absolutely beautiful kick by Paddy Jackson, weighted perfectly, and you know, what you expect when this guy gets near the ball, something good happens. They finished it beautifully, Jared Payne.
That was a great kick by Paddy Jackson, but Ulster will be disappointed with this opportunity when he failed to make touch.
Absolutely. I mean, this would have just put the pressure straight back into Munster. We just missed it. He just overcooked it, went for a little too much. You know, had we got that line out, perhaps inside that 22, just build pressure yet again. The more pressure you can put against Munster, the better.
Yeah, and Ulster, you know, playing much better, but things didn't seem to quite click for them apart from that score until Darren Cave got in for the try.
Yeah, I mean, they were building pressure on Munster, going through lots of phases and going forward. This comes from a tackle and a turnover, and what we have here is, again, Payne reads the situation perfectly, sees the gap, beats Paul O'Connell on the inside, and now throws a beautiful pass to Andrew Trimble on the run. And when Trimble at full flight here gets under the defence and a quick offload, and again, that line break comes from Payne. Look, he sees the space under O'Connell and he goes under him. Again, Jared Payne pulling the strings here for Ulster. Very executed. And at this point here, you felt like this is what Ulster deserved. You know, that 20-pointer was what they had put all the effort in for. And when they kicked conversion, you said, well, this is what they deserve after all the effort and how they've controlled Munster. But unfortunately, as we said, they lost concentration and got Munster a lifeline now at the very end of the half. But that was an excellent try. And as Andy says, if they keep playing like this, they're going to win and win comfortably. But at the same time, they shouldn't be giving Munster any opportunities to come back at them, because Munster will wake up at some point here.
Yeah, and it has been an impressive performance by Ulster against the league leaders who have been in pretty hot form.
Very much so. And for me, the telling point thus far in this first 40 minutes is the pressure that Ulster are putting on defensively. They're really getting in faces. They've been very well organised tonight, and it's really good. But it's just the way they're going. Andrew Trimble here, this is another opportunity I felt we probably should have scored from.
I think if Trimble comes off his left foot here, he's under the sticks.
Yeah.
He was being very generous playing it outside into the cover, and Munster scrambled very well here, there's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
But you gotta feel like Trimby's pace here and power, he should have gone the whole way himself.
Absolutely. So once again, that was another opportunity. That's perhaps a definite 7 points there, and the scoreline would have stretched. And
Jared Payne here again pulling the strings up the short side. Great hands, and Henderson, you know, carries well. He's had a big game, Henderson, in fairness to him. Throughout his work rate's been excellent. But again, you know, Ulster on the front foot here, causing all sorts of problems for Munster. Munster scrambling, and I thought that ball going earlier to the wide side, a foul might have scored. He was just boxed in a little bit there and his foot caught the line. But again, another chance, Ulster slipped away, and you were beginning to wonder that were they not going to get the return on their dividend or their effort. And they did, and they're good for their 20 points, there's no question about it.
Yeah, but of course we have to remember that Keatley has missed 8 points as well. Could be a much different game. That try just before half time.
Yeah, you've got to keep that to the factor that Keatley has missed 2 penalties on a conversion, which is normally his stock and trade. Yeah. And plus the fact, I think there's been a lot of penalties in the game. Ulster conceded 8 penalties, Munster 6. So Ulster getting on the wrong side of the referee a wee bit here, so they need to tidy that up. And I think here's the try coming to half time. Rowan Pienaar, for some reason, comes out of his line completely. Yeah. And once he comes out of his line, now Keatley's gone through and it's all over.
It's just, he just went for it there. I mean, at the end of the day, if you're going to come out of the line the way you did, you've got to get body and ball.
It's a sloppy try, you know. It's a basic defensive error to come out of your line and not make a tackle. And of all guys to do it, Pienaar was experienced. But I think that's going to irritate Ulster at half time.
Okay, Eddie, Andy, thank you for the moment. Time now to hear from 2 interested Ulster spectators this evening who both have big years coming up in 2014. They're talking to Gavin Andrews.
And 2 of Dungannon's finest, former Open champion Darren Clark and World Rally driver Chris Meek. Darren, first of all, Big rugby fan, we see you here from time to time.
Yeah, I grew up at school playing it all the time, Royal School Dungannon, and obviously I had to give it up for my golf, but huge fan, especially with Ulster as well, doing as well as they are. It's always great to come down here, Ravenhill.
And you're a big number 8, you must have been close to the Ulster setup at one stage?
I was getting there. I played with Paddy Johns and Sniffer Clark were just ahead of me in school, and I played a lot with them, but my golf got a little bit too serious too early.
And you're a lucky charm. Last time you were here, Ulster won well, and great start tonight.
Yeah, they're playing much better tonight. Last week against Leinster they didn't appear too good, but they're so far so good.
Okay, big year coming up. Off to South Africa tomorrow. Tell us about what's happening.
Yeah, off to South Africa, down to Durban tomorrow for a week, and then Abu Dhabi for a week, and then Qatar for a week, and home for a week, and then LA for a week, and here, there and everywhere. But busy, a little bit more time in America this year, but got to find some form again and get back to winning ways.
Lots of exotic locations. Another man who'll be in exotic locations, Chris Meek. Monte Carlo coming soon, and a massive year for you.
Yeah, it's a big opportunity for me with the Citroen World Rally team this year, and really nice to get a full proper crack at the World Rally Championship. So yeah, it all kicks off in a week and a half's time in the Monte Carlo Rally, one of the trickiest rallies to start out, but yeah, looking forward to a good season.
And how much do you know about rugby, and how much are you enjoying tonight?
Like Darren, I played at the Royal School Dungannon, and I played up until medallion year, but didn't make the first at that time. But I remember watching Darren play when I was a nipper at the Royal School. So I'm here trying to get some tips off him.
Okay, quickly, New Year's resolutions. Obviously for you, other than keeping it between the hedges, what's the plan?
Shiny side up.
We'll take that. And Darren, you obviously don't need to lose any weight. You've lost so much. There must be something else.
Try and find the hole a little bit more often on the greens.
Okay, and I believe you got a present for our presenter over Christmas. Tell us about that.
Stephen, bless him, Stephen Watson. He's a wonderful presenter, but he does have the world's worst collection of ties. So I managed to add to his collection because I believe he's wearing the one that I bought him for Christmas this evening.
He looks lovely, Stephen.
Yeah, I put it on especially tonight. It's looking very, very well. Let's hope Darren Clark can win another major this year. That would be fantastic. Great to see these kinds of sportsmen coming to support Ulster at Ravenhill, isn't it? You can't keep them away.
No, it's brilliant. But the atmosphere here is fantastic. I mean, it's rocking out there tonight, and there's always been a great atmosphere, and with the stadium coming together now, I mean, it's really going to kick on from here, I think.
Kicking has been a big part of this first half. Obviously, Ruan Pinar has had an outstanding half with the boot compared to Ian Keatley.
Oh, very much so, and this is becoming a bit of a normal thing for Ruan Pinar. He knows where the goalposts are, that's for sure, and I think he's got very much used to the way that the wind swirls around in the new stadium here, and this is a fantastic kick. I mean, that was long range, and it was still rising almost as it was going through the post, so it's got a little lift on the meat, on the bone
and
there.
It has made a big difference to this game though, Eddie. It's really helped give Ulster the advantage.
Well, I think Pinar's accuracy off the ground and Keatley's lack of accuracy off the ground, I mean, had Keatley kicked all his opportunities, it'd only be a 7-point game now. And I think there's a win factor here. Ulster are playing into the win in the second half, and I think if Keatley finds his range and Ulster continue with their lack of discipline, if 8 penalties against them, Keatley could reel them in gradually from maybe 40 or 50 metres.
Yeah,
so that's going to be a factor in the second half.
Yeah,
I think.
Strong wind in this second half. What do Ulster do now? Because obviously they didn't really have to kick for territory in the first half because they kept the ball so well.
Well, I think that you're right. I don't think they're going to be changing the way they play at the minute. I think they're going to keep playing. The defence is doing a very good job for them. It's getting them onto the front foot. They can really take it out. Munster have to go and chase this game now. Also just got to keep coming up, knocking them over, and keep the mistakes down. And for one thing, keep the penalty count right down, because we know for sure if the penalties are made now, you'd be 50 metres behind yourself.
Fair to say we probably haven't seen the best of Munster yet in this game. There is certainly better to come, Eddie.
Well, I think, to be fair, Ulster haven't given them too many opportunities. The defence has been excellent. They've contained Munster, and Munster have tried to go around Ulster, failed. They've tried to go through Ulster and failed. So Munster have not found a solution yet to break down the Ulster defence, except that one moment where they lack a discipline and they let them in for a soft try. So it's more the same from Ulster defensively, but the discipline's going to be important with the wind, and if Keatley finds his range. Having said that, Andy's right, Munster have to come out and play here, and they haven't found a way yet to break Ulster down from a fair bit of set-piece possession. And I think they're going to have to rethink what they're going to do here in the second half. They'll have the wind at their backs, which will help them find field position. But when they get field position, they're going to have to do a lot better on using it.
I think Ulster, I think the way Munster, the way we sort of know Munster is, because they're not making a way through them or around them, they're probably going to try and put the ball in the back and go back to the old Munster way, apply immense amounts of pressure. So Ulster are going to need a real good general in the middle of this whole thing, organising it, knowing what's coming.
But to be fair to Ulster, they have turned a fair bit of ball over this evening as well.
They've poached a good bit at the breakdown, and funny, it has been Chris Henry doing all the damage. It's been the centres a lot of the time have been actually getting in over the ball, and that's when Munster were very lateral.
Yeah.
When they weren't getting the penetration, Ulster got the opportunities in the outside channels to get on the ball. You know, you can't fault Ulster at the moment in terms of their defence or their attack. They just need a little more accuracy in attack.
Yeah.
But I think it's going to be a tougher second half for them. I think Munster will put the ball behind them more, will carry more when they get into field position, and Ulster still have to resolve their indiscipline at the breakdown, giving away penalties, but they still have to be able to approach the ball. So I think it's a very intriguing battle. It's not over yet, and that try before half-time throws it right back at the hopper as far as I'm concerned.
Next score, Andy, absolutely critical.
Without a shadow of a doubt. You know, Ulster have to come out here and play rugby. They can't sit back. It's not a big enough scoreline just to sit back and hope things are going to pan out. They've got to keep playing, keep attacking this game.
Okay, Andy, Eddie, thank you very much indeed. Both Ulster and Munster looking for a big win tonight, of course, ahead of these crucial European games coming up next week. It's Ulster who have the advantage at the moment. They lead 20 points to 5. Second half is just about to start, and it's time to go back to our commentary team, Ryan Constable and Jim Neely.
Thank you, Stephen, and just the gentlest of reminders. I have to say, I love Darren Clark's coat. I wanted the lovely Alison buy him that for Christmas. Gentle reminder that the Ulster's next two Heineken Cup games you can hear with us on BBC Radio Ulster. But back to this crucial game. The number one side in the Pro 12 this season, trailing by 15 points to the side in 5th position. And Ian Keatley restarts this game. Andrew Trimble waits. He's had a pretty good game. Roger Wilson does what he's been doing for Ulster and for Northampton for the best part of a decade. Makes decent ground. Pienaar away to Payne. Payne, well, there's an example of just how strong that wind is. He struck it quite nicely. Didn't make that much in the way of ground, and it's going to be Ulster possession. The wind, if anything, has picked up a little bit, so it'll be much more in Munster's favour than it was in Ulster's at the start of this second half.
And Ulster are going to need to carry a lot more ball, keep possession, make good decisions at the breakdown. Penalties will result in you standing, defending 5 metres out to a line out, which Munster will probably look to drive. So discipline going to be key in this half.
James Collin, who's been quiet, taken off at the ankles by Rob Herring. Duncan Williams, one of the 3 Munster replacements, and all because of injuries. So their resources now looking a bit sparse on the bench. Williams taken on by Irish international prop Stephen Archer. Robbed by Herring.
Assist, tackler must release.
Well, I thought I didn't think the ball was on the ground. I thought the Munsterman with the ball was actually on his feet, and therefore you're not required to release the tackler. But the penalty has been given, and as the chaps in the studio at half-time were talking about, with the wind behind them, you never know what could happen. Now there's Archer. He was on the ground. He was on the ground. I do beg his pardon. I do beg the referee's pardon. So a genuine penalty there. So having missed with 2 penalties and a conversion attempt in the first half, which could have put an entirely different aspect on this game, Ian Keatley, from a fair old distance out, has got this chance to get the first points of the second half and close the gap. Ruan Pienaar landed one from well inside his own half, midway through the first half, if you see what I mean. So 2 minutes gone, and this a kick that Ian Keatley really needs to make for Munster.
Post.
Oh, he's missed that one as well. Well, it is not Ian Keatley's night. 4 attempts at the Ulster posts, and all of them have gone awry. Not by much, but
a crucial kick at the start of this second half, just to get that momentum going for Munster to carry it through from the try they scored at the end of the first half, and a real let-off for Ulster, but a warning about the discipline that's required.
Taken in by Ronan O'Mahony, who's tackled by Dan Tui. Well laid back by O'Mahony. Williams, Keatley. Casey Lalala had to check. Gets outside Roger Wilson. Runs into Tom Court, who's flipped him round. Nicely presented though by Lalala. Here's Keatley into a little bit of space. Trimble gathers, gives it to Payne. Gets it now to Jackson. Little chip by Jackson. Craig Gilroy comes through. Across comes O'Mahony. Knocked forward by Munster. Ulster's put into the scrum. Duncan Williams has got a bit of a bang. enterprising stuff by Munster. And you mentioned earlier, Ryan, they're playing an altogether different style of rugby than the one that we saw for so many years. That was so effective. But certainly this season, there were signs that the way Rob Penny wanted the game to be played was paying dividends for them.
Yeah, they had a very successful style. It served them well. As the game moved on and rules were introduced to quicken up the match, they've had to adapt. They're going through that process now. They're not the finished article, but the endeavour and the ambition has returned to their play. It takes a while to bed those things in. Recruitment has to revolve around the style of play that they're trying to implement, but certainly making some huge strides towards becoming that side that looks so comfortable with the ball in hand.
Well, they don't give much away, do they?
Sit here.
Glimpse of the Munster bench showed the familiar figure of BJ Botha, a Ravenhill favourite for a number of seasons.
Straight.
4 minutes gone in the second half. And that line is the Munster 10-metre line.
Set.
Referee will want Ruan Pienaar to put it in, but not while it's moving around. He could have probably put it in, but the referee hadn't said to him. And there's a peculiar anomaly now of the current scrummaging situation where you're not allowed to put the ball in until the referee says. And of course that lets the opposition hooker know exactly what's happening so he can have a strike at it. So we now occasionally get the old-fashioned strike against the head. Not that as a former centre and wing three-quarter, Mr. Constable, you'd know the first thing about that.
Yeah, all we're worried about is getting that ball out with a stable platform to allow us to time our runs for that pre-rehearsed move we've done on the training paddock to score under the post untouched.
Crouch.
God bless you, prima donnas.
Ready and sink. Bind. Set. White, straight down far side.
Well, Tom Court penalised for the second time. First scrum of the first half he got pinged. First scrum of the second half he's got pinged. I don't think Keatley will go for the Ulster post from here, but he'll certainly look to put Munster in a good attacking position. And Ulster's penalty count is climbing all the time, and he has found a very good touch. That's 10 penalties against Ulster in this game so far, and that really is not acceptable.
No, you're always looking to keep it into the single figures, particularly at home. Unusual that the home team would have a higher penalty count. They'll need to adjust with the wind against them. You've seen what happens. They're in their own 22 now defending a line-out.
Not that Ronan O'Gara made too many appearances here at Ravenhill, but you have the feeling that had he been there, this game might have taken on an entirely different complexion. Here's Casey, the replacement, nearly stolen by Ulster. Peter O'Mahony, Munster's skipper, has taken it on.
Number 3.
There's another penalty against Ulster. John Afoa pulling it down this time, and Alan Rowland's patience, I think, is going to run out pretty soon. Good tackle by Afoa on Kilcoyne. Advantage still being played. Keatley. Ooh, that's a teaser. Well taken by Payne. And he's going to come back for the penalty. So all Jared Payne's splendid efforts mean nothing whatsoever.
A good recognition from Munster. They had the penalty advantage, put it up in the air, create a 50-50 lottery. Probably went a little bit too far with the wind behind it and unable to really compete for it.
Well, John Afoe guilty of just pulling that down, and in the meantime Ian Keatley has kicked the ball into the corner, and Munster going for the line-out. Now, if Munster do what they do or have done for so many years, they will catch and they will drive, and if they get a penalty, or I should say a try, at this stage of the second half, who knows? Ulster must contest. Tommy O'Donnell got up and just tapped it down. Here go the Munster men, they're rumbling forward. They've got to get themselves straight and square, and Ulster can't afford to collapse again. Ulster seem to have got men in behind the ball, and the initial surge has been held up. But here come Munster again, they're not too far away. They've got to cross the line, and they've got to try. And Munster back in this game. A try either side of half-time. And I think it's Dave Kilcoyne, the loosehead prop, has done it yet again. His second league try, and what a crucial one that is. And all of a sudden, it's not looking so rosy for Ulster, who've only themselves to blame.
Well, if Ulster wanted a better illustration of why they need to keep their discipline, they'll not find one. Kick into the corner, driven maul, round the corner, what you'd expect, good structure, protect the ball carrier, rumbling around the side, and eventually just weight of numbers as Ulster's inside backs came in to try and stem that tide, unable to do so. Munster with the wind at their backs, kicking into the corner, embracing this new style, but using their core values to get that crucial score.
Well, Ian Keatley now with this conversion. It's his 5th attempt at the Ulster post. Is he going to break his duck? Had he been accurate all the way through, Munster would have been in the lead at this stage. Ulster charged the conversion and he has nailed it. And how crucial is that going to be? So after 4 unsuccessful attempts, Ian Keatley has landed one, and it's looking so much rosier for Munster's side, and it's all down to silly Ulster errors.
Yeah, for Ulster now, it's a period of possession. They needed inside Munster's half, stamp their authority back on this game. Munster with the wind at their back have the luxury of clearing their lines, playing a territory-based game, and up to Ulster to respond by ball in hand rugby.
Well, you got that absolutely spot on. Now, Ulster simply must respond. 8 points between them, and at just over 8 minutes played in the second half, and Munster take in the restart kick with consummate ease. Williams, Tommy O'Donnell, held up by Henry and Robbie Dyack. Referee has called the maul, and that's going to be an Ulster scrum. Well, that's a positive thing. First positive thing in this second half.
Yeah, outstanding defensive work, body height just not low enough, maybe a little bit rusty from timeout. And Chris Henry and Robbie Dyack in concert managed to get a crucial feed to this scrum. Midfield, a couple of options available depending on what happens at scrum time.
To be higher and to be pushing straight.
Well, Ulster's scrum has not been at all dominant, and remember they've got a couple of real nasty, mean forward packs to deal with in the forthcoming couple of Heineken games. Montpellier here in a week's time, and then away on Saturday week to, or fortnight tomorrow I should say, to the Leicester Tigers at Welford Road of all places.
Seconds. Steady, boys.
Crouch.
Ready. And sit.
Bind. Set. Yes, 9.
And they're messing about there, but that's a better scrum from Ulster. Pienaar, Paddy Jackson, Luke Marshall, Payne gets it away to Trimble. Good aggressive work by Andrew Trimble as ever, and Munster there quicker to the ball, but Ulster won it. Jackson, nice and flat. Dan Toohey. Herring helps him. Pienaar has a look, changes his mind. Jackson, Payne. Robbie Dyack tried the little flick on, which was probably the right idea in the circumstances, but he put a little bit too much on it. But better from Ulster.
Yeah, once again playing with that width. On this occasion, it looks like they're going in the second man play, but gets the ball. Again, Trimble coming off the line, ensuring Ulster maintain possession, and then they play with that width again to try and exploit the wider channels and just trying to get that past the hand. But excellent defence from Munster, putting pressure on the ball receiver.
O'Mahony is going off, and Johnny Murphy is coming on. That's a fourth replacement for Munster.
Yeah, well, we've enough problems at the moment, so I'm trying to keep an eye on everything. Okay.
Ball was flicked forward. If it was knocked forward into touch, then the side that didn't commit the offence have got the option of either the line out or the scrum, and they seem to have gone for the scrummage. A real pressure from Ulster on the Munster scrum. No Donica Ryan and no Donica O'Callaghan, who's gone off injured. Ulster getting an early squeeze. They must stop committing errors. That's better. But Munster have locked it out. That's a great drive by Munster. Referee's going to give a penalty against Ulster. And that's 12 penalties Ulster, I reckon, have conceded in this game. Dan Toohey and Tom Court exchanging words. So something is not going right in the Ulster scrummage. It's not really been allowed to settle, has it?
And you look at Ulster's replacement bench warming up. Nick Williams, the huge side of Nick Williams, in that in-goal area. I'm sure he'd relish the opportunity to play against some of his former teammates in the Munster jersey, and matter of time before Ulster release some of their subs. Munster have been forced to do it through injury replacements. Ulster can afford to be a bit more strategic and tactical in those replacements, but expect to see some soon.
In the meantime, it's Duncan Casey. Well taken by the Munster replacement. Foley, Casey, Williams, Keatley. Deneen, the score of Munster's first try, hasn't got across the gain line. Ulster have stolen that. Court gets it away. Jackson, Marshall. Well taken by Payne. Spilled forward. And it's just not going right now. Ulster just snatching at things a little bit. That was a good turnover, however, and they didn't really maximise it. And look at Paul O'Connell. What a leader this man has been down the years. Patting his men in the head for a job well done.
An excellent work by Chris Henry again at the breakdown, pilfering another ball. Big hit by Lalala, followed up again, and by Felix Jones. Munster really have got the scent in the nostrils now. They know they're in this game, away from home.
Yeah, you're happy off this side,
53 minutes on the clock. They're just outside one score range, but certainly making the most of their scores either side of half-time to get some momentum back in this game.
Well, the youngest of the Munster fans more than happy, and happier certainly than they were just a few minutes before the interval. Munster scored 12 points without reply. Also having raced into a 20-0 lead. 14 minutes played in the second half. Duncan Williams pops it in. Chris Henry not happy. Down it goes. Referee's going to ask him to do it again. He's saying that was a slip. The Ulster fans, needless to say, disagree. Arms folded. There's a stoic Ulster faces, not happy.
Watch where you're going. Here. Okay, on this side. You got to keep your head and shoulders higher here. Halfbacks can't get the ball in. You got to be higher here. Halfback can't get the ball in. Okay, both of you. Here.
Roland saying to Dave Kilcoyne that he has to be a little bit higher, so the scrum half can put the ball in. Having been capped 3 times in that position for Ireland, Alan Roland knows a thing or two about halfback play.
Crouch. Ready, turn, bind. Set.
It's a bit more stable. Ulster get a good squeeze on. And up come the Munster front row, and that's the first really dominant scrum that Ulster have produced this evening, or either side has produced this evening, and Ulster will get the penalty. And I don't think it's kickable, but it's certainly worthwhile trying to make a decent bit of ground from.
Sure.
Yeah, Rowan Pienaar looks as though he's going to have a go at this, trusting in the range he's capable of producing. Chris Henry drawing the referee's attention to the angle of the Munster front row and applauding the referee for picking up the little pointer that he made. I'm sure he would have seen it without the encouragement, but it's Ulster now with an opportunity to address this slant in scoring that's gone against them in the end of the first half and the start of the second half.
Well, the wind has dropped considerably. It was very much favouring Munster at the start of the second half, but it has died down a little bit. The toughest kick of the evening for Rowan Pienaar. It's pretty close to that far touchline as we look at it. And the wind will try and hold it up. He's got to keep it pretty low, I would think. He's got underneath that. Too much height. Gathered in by James Collin, who likes to run a little bit. Quick ball now for Munster. Duncan Williams. There's an overlap here if they could maybe think about shifting it. This is Foley, replacement second row. In fact, it's Deneen, looked a bit like a smaller version of Foley. Referee's got the hand out for a knock forward by Munster, and he's given a penalty against Munster. Taken quickly by Pienaar. They're not allowed to touch him. Gets it to Henry. Also up to the 22. Munster man getting rocked out of it, and also give away another penalty. Holding on in the tackle. Dear, oh dear, oh dear. Penalty number 13 for the home side. And Paul O'Connell again high-fiving everybody. That was another chance that Ulster should have just settled themselves down, put it into the corner.
Play on.
Well, the referee's picking up a lot of infringements and a number of them at the breakdown. For the sake of the spectacle, go to the pocket, dish out some yellow cards and impose himself on that. The continual penalties are just not allowing the game to play. Increase the level of the sanction and try and clean up that area so the game can get some flow.
Well, that was the initial free, and then the penalty was given, and off went Ruan Pienaar, and Ulster couldn't profit. Callum Black has come on for Ulster.
Okay, time on.
It's 51st game. Back from O'Donnell. Duncan Williams thought he saw a gap and was closed by Rob Herring. Still there for the men in red, looking much more purposeful. BJ Bota has come on from Munster, wearing number 18. So he and Tom Court, old teammates, will not be locking horns. Ulster have done a good job in holding Munster off the ground, and the referee will blow his whistle, I'm pretty sure, and give the scrum to Ulster, but Ulster have won it. Cave gets it away. Henry, Payne, well taken by Payne. Charged down by Munster. Rare error by Payne. Still there for Ulster. Advantage to them. Taken by Trimble. Gets it away now. Here's Cave. Good strong run by Cave. Oh, look at that obstruction. Ulster fans incensed by that. Paddy Jackson. Marshall goes to ground on the 22. Good support from Robbie Dayak, his captain. Jackson. Now Afoa. Craig Gilroy has a go. It's so very little chance with ball in hand. Well laid back by Gilroy. Pienaar is there quickly. Dayak. Good Munster defence. Pienaar again. Dan Toohey, a little bit upright, but he's made it available. Now Pienaar. Jackson. Thought about a little go himself with Henderson inside him. Still there for Ulster. Pienaar taken on by Callum Black. Well, he's been very industrious. Here's Pienaar again. Dan Toohey.
Reds, move!
James calling right over that. Referee happy enough. Pienaar on the narrow side has a little dart himself, and he's given it away. Just needed a man a little bit closer to him, and that's very good Munster defence. And that's fine touch, and all the pressure relieved. Good pressure it was, but Munster up to it.
Yeah, defence that befits an interprovincial match. Plenty of passion out there and desperation in defence. Ulster again finding some holes, creating some overlaps. Trimble is held back here in the tackle, not once but twice. O'Connell tries to put a tackle, may have been blindsided, but just unable to get the support players there to bring that move on. And then Pienaar again tries to flick that one inside, and desperation on the floor for Munster allows them to relieve pressure.
Great take by Toohey and by Pienaar. Here's Chris Henry. Look, Marshall at the shoulder. Marshall still making ground. Great work by the centre. Pienaar. Jackson. Cave. Strong work by Cave. Pienaar. Dayak. Pienaar again. Referee still playing advantage to Ulster. Rob Herring gets across the Munster 22. Penalty against Munster. Somebody may well be going to the bin. No, he's just having a word with Peter O'Mahony.
13 over here, and we also have another player over here getting in the way, okay? In this area, if it goes happen, I'm going to take it up to the next level. Penalty against your players.
Two players, one of them, this man, Casey Laulala, Paris bound at the end of the season. Got themselves in offside positions, and pretty deliberately said referee Alain Roland, and next time he will be going to his pocket, and this gives Ulster the chance just to increase the lead by 3 more precious points.
Yeah, they'll welcome this opportunity. Takes it out to 11 if they can manage to convert it successfully. Nothing in Ruan Pienaar's kicking form today that would suggest otherwise.
Did you get a number who, Nigel, did you get a number over here? In the second look, did you get a number who was in there? 14.
Referee is asking his touch judge, Nigel Currell, if he actually got a number of the other person who offended for Munster. So Pienaar with 4 successful kicks from 4 attempts in the first half, and just out of eye shot, or camera shot, Nick Williams is warming up. That's a good one. It's a wee bit of insurance for Ulster, which means that Munster are going to have to score a couple of tries and convert them to win this game. But it's by no means done and dusted. More than decent kick, and great reaction from the home fans. Into the final quarter of this game, gathered in by Roger Wilson. Runs into BJ Bota. Pienaar, Tui, Paddy Jackson, Payne, Cave took the tackle well. Bit of support from Luke Marshall. Nicely set up. Jackson, Tui, into Paul O'Connell. Here's Jackson, who's got himself into a good position. There's no way through that gap for Jackson, but the ball is available. Pienaar. Oh dear. Lewis Stevenson has come on the field, I've just noticed. Knocked on by Ulster, referee playing advantage, and no advantage comes, and it's going to be a Munster scrum.
Yeah, Ulster playing with ball in hand. It was taken back into the 22, so they went to the wider channels looking for the kicking opportunity. It's Munster now that need to respond. 11-point margin, need to be next on the scoreboard to get this a contest.
So Lewis Stevenson on for Ian Henderson, who's made a pretty decent return to rugby after a long gap with injury, and Nick Williams, who has missed the last half dozen games as well, has come on for this man Roger Wilson.
And Chris Henry back from an injury in November. Some engine on him, he's kept going. He's probably been the dominant personality, certainly at the breakdown for Ulster, and continuing to get some running in those legs for a couple of big games in Ulster jersey, and with the injury to Sean O'Brien auditioning for that Ireland number 7 jersey.
Tommy O'Donnell's name was in the mixture as well. There's Sean Doyle, who's Ulster's replacement open side. Wouldn't be surprised if he's going to come on soon. But Ulster, I think, would like another score just to make sure before they start making any more replacements. Callum Black has made an impression since he's been on, and now he's going to face BJ Bota.
Ready? And sink.
Bind. Set.
Good straight back by Black. Oh, that's a good scrum. Colin picks up Duncan Williams. Good tackle by Pienaar. Ivan Dineen, tackled by Paddy Jackson. Ulster might just have turned that one over. Or I thought it was knocked forward, perhaps. Peter O'Mahony, Munster's skipper. Keatley, inside to Felix Jones. Tackle was by Luke Marshall, and an effective tackle it was. Out. Here goes Stevenson. And the touch judge on this side, I think, was the man who called that. He's blown his whistle for a penalty against Ulster. Might have been a hand in the middle of all that. Well, Mark Anscombe will be incandescent about the penalty count. And now Munster have a chance to claw something back yet again. Good kick by Keatley. Well, there was the take. That was O'Mahony. Out it went. This was Keatley, and Darren Cave is just shepherding him all the way. That was that pass. Little mazy run, and Keatley was being well shepherded. Anyway, Munster win the line out, and they will have a drive at the Ulster line. That's good protection of the ball, as you'd expect from the masters of this particular technique. Here they go again. They're driving forward. Remember, Kilcoyne has already got one try from this sort of range, and he's got the ball in the middle of all of that as well. And here come the men in red. And Ulster have got to be clever, they've got to be careful. It's close, and they've got the try again. Try number 3 for Munster, and they still have the knack of coming back. What a forward drive by the Munster men. And what a try, and this game is not over by any means.
Well, as soon as that penalty was awarded, you knew what was coming. The Ulster forwards would have known it was into the corner, and then they just allowed sections to peel off as Munster get it set. Players coming through but not being able to affect it, having to retreat, and Munster just kept moving forward the whole time. Red jerseys replacing red jerseys that were moved out of the way. Excellent structure, clinical finish, just what was required at that juncture in the game for them.
Well, I have a pretty decent feeling it might have been Munster number 8, James Collin. Now if Keatley can nail this, it puts the ball back in Munster's court, and he has done. He's found the kicking boots in the second half, and there's not much in the way of cheering coming from the Ulster crowd, because there's only a try between these sides, and if Munster can get a try, they will not only win the game, they'll have a bonus point.
Well, certainly Ulster now will be aware of the threat that Munster possess. If they can get anywhere near that 5-metre line, they'll know what's coming again. Need to ensure they don't give away those penalties that allow Munster to establish that field position.
Chris Henry has left the field. A little bit of a readjustment by Keatley. Williams, who's played well since they came on, here go Munster. O'Mahony tries to get away from his Irish teammate Luke Marshall. Duncan Williams, Felix Jones, Casey Laulala. Ulster can't afford to fall off tackles.
Use it!
Ulster, interestingly, for the first time under Mark Anscombe, have had 6 forwards as replacements, only 2 backs. Here's Jared Payne. Change of direction. No way through.
Wait.
Pienaar. Nick Williams. Well, he's let the ball go. There's absolutely no point in barging over 2 or 3 players if you don't have the ball back in your side, and that's probably one of the major failings in his game. Ulster needed to keep that ball in hand, and Tommy O'Donnell has got away. 11 minutes remaining.
Advantage is over.
James Collin was the man who did indeed score the try. Here comes Dineen, scorer of the first Munster try. Aggressive young centre. Williams, Keatley, looking more the part now. Good tackle by Ulster in the middle of the park on Dave Kilcoyne. Williams, half a gap there. Laulala goes for territory. Jared Payne waits. Gets it to Gilroy. What is he going to do? Well, he's going to run, and he's got to make that ball available. If Ulster give away a penalty here, it could be catastrophic. Well done. Jackson. Out to Payne again. Gets the pass away just about.
Red! Release Red!
Well, there's a whole sort of rumble of nervousness around Ravenhill here. Here's Payne. Trimble. That was a high tackle. Ruan Pienaar. Paddy Jackson. Williams gets away from Paul O'Connell. Gets it now to Stevenson. Lovely pass to Sean Doyle. Pienaar. Clattered by his opposite number, Duncan Williams. Ball coming back on the Ulster side. Pick up and drive.
That's a rock! Hands! Leave it! Leave it!
Munster told to leave it, but it's slow ball, and it's come out on the Munster side. And has the referee been happy about that? The touch judge is having a word on this side.
Hands by Red.
Hands by Red. I think it's going to be a penalty against Munster.
No. Farmer. Time off. Can you have a look and tell me if there's a
going
number
upstairs
there for
to Brian McNeice.
Okay, I'll put it on the screen for you.
To see who the infringing Munster player was.
Time is off.
Because having warned them, this may be a yellow card.
Yeah, judging by what Alain Rollin said, if they can find the perpetrator, he will be going to the bin.
Well, there's the ball coming back, and this was the secondary drive. Ball was on the ground there. Well, there's nothing wrong with that. The weight is being taken by the Munster player, Peter O'Mahony, on his feet.
Hands in the ruck here.
Well, it's just hands in the ruck, and Ulster will get the penalty, and they really need this. They need these points.
Well, a little bit of a retreat from Alain Rollin there. He's still given the penalty,
Yeah, I've already
deeming
spoken
hands
about
in the
that,
ruck, but
okay?
it's not a
I
yellow
couldn't
card offence.
identify whichever number it was. If I could have picked it, I couldn't see that, okay? Yes, they've been told.
Well, Ulster saying to him, you said you were going to give the yellow card and you changed your mind, but it wasn't, I don't think, a yellow card offence. It was hands in the ruck. Well, was that deliberate, and should that have been a yellow card offence? Who knows? James Cullen confirmed, by the way, as the try scorer. Peter O'Mahony, Munster skipper, man who captained Ireland against the United States and Canada last summer, will be a bit disappointed if his side don't come away with something. But at the moment, even if Ruan Pienaar kicks this, Munster are still within a losing bonus point. And of course, they do have the chance to draw the game level with a converted try. All that is academic until we see what happens with Mr. Pienaar. 13 of Ulster's 23 points so far. Nice leisurely swing of that talented right leg, and Ulster go a converted try ahead, but there's still time for Munster, and Ulster must not make any more silly errors. Fine piece of goal kicking from Ruan Pienaar. He's just missed one all evening. Had Ian Keatley been on target, Munster would have been winning this game. Taken in by Stevenson. Couple of more Munster replacements coming on, more about that in a second, and Munster get the put into the scrum, and Ulster again committing a very fundamental error and giving away possession when they had the ball. When you take it in like that, it should always come back in your side.
Yeah, as soon as your body height's not where it needs to be, and the drive's not there, and the support's not there to get that ball to ground, all of the Irish provinces very adept at isolating the player, keeping him off the ground, and therefore getting the scrum put in.
Time off for a second.
John Ryan has come on to play loosehead prop for Kilcoyne.
Okay. Here we are, time on.
And in the back row, CJ Stander has come on for James Cullen. Time is ticking away, 8 minutes remaining, a converted try between them. Ulster might well have been out of sight by half-time, but they blew a number of chances, and Munster have taken what few chances have come their way. Good scrum once again. Stander, Williams, Deneen, Laulala. Well tackled by Cave. Laulala's made it available. Williams, Keatley, Felix Jones hasn't had much of a chance to run. Duncan Williams. Laulala will have a go himself. Still no way through the Ulster defence. They've got to roll away. Stevenson does that. Ooh, well taken by Duncan Williams. Munster there, quicker to the breakdown. CJ Stander.
Hands out!
We've got a CJ and a BJ. This is Williams, Keatley, Laulala. Well tackled by Robbie Dyack.
Hands out!
Williams, Keatley, back inside to replacement hooker Casey. All the pressure coming from the league leaders, as you'd expect. This is Ryan, the replacement prop. Williams, Keatley, looking for a bit of a gap. Little chip through. Payne has it covered. Was left with very little in the way of options, Jared Payne there. What could he do? If he kicked the straight into touch, it wouldn't have mattered.
A very clever play by Munster, going through the phases, allowing the opportunity to put that tactical kick in to establish the field position, forcing Ulster into the corner, and just where Munster would want to be at this point in the game.
Johnny Murphy with the cleverly placed kick, and it's a Munster line-out. Niall Annette is coming on for Ulster. So off goes Rob Herring. He's had another pretty impressive game.
Time on.
Niall Annette for his 14th Ulster appearance. It's Munster's replacement, Duncan Casey, with this throw. Taken by O'Mahony.
Against White.
Referee has called for the maul, and has he got the hand out for a penalty against Ulster? Dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. How can Ulster do that in such a position? Well, Munster will drive, and if they don't drive all the way to the line, they'll get the penalty, and they'll kick into the corner. So he's going to his touch judge on the far side, Dudley Phillips. Let's hear what he's saying. This could be a yellow card against Ulster.
The lifter,
yeah.
the red player before the man comes down.
Okay, penalty in 15. Okay, 5 white. 5.
Dan Toohey penalised, pulling a man down, and Munster will kick into the corner, and they'll go for the crash over and drive.
Time on, please.
And look, at the very least, to draw this game. What a second half it has been by Munster. A minute before the interval, they were 20 points down, and they battled their way back. And they may not just have the personnel of 4 or 5 years ago, but this ability to come back and win games at the death is still there for Munster. Taken in by Tommy O'Donnell. Here they come again, looking for a bonus point try no matter what happens. They're close, they're over the line. Ulster have held them up. Can they get it down? The referee's having a really good look. And he said no.
It's not conclusive, it's not.
Paul O'Connell says, make a decision.
I don't know.
And he can't see. He can't see.
There's no way the TV camera's going to tell me anything different. Here we are, scrum it down, going forward.
Well, Aaron Rowland has said that there's no way the TV cameras could have improved on that. And Munster denied a 4th try. And they've got themselves a scrum. Well, what an end to this game, Ryan.
They managed to get over the line, but unable to ground it. One of the Ulster players managing to get in there and wrap the player up, man and ball. They still need to withstand this final 4 minutes, not where they'll want to be at this stage of the game. Crucial scrum to come.
What Ulster can't afford to do is to give away a penalty at this scrum, needless to say. They couldn't be closer under the laws of the game. 5 metres from the Ulster line. Munster, a converted try behind. Ulster get a squeeze on a bit early. Get it in, says the referee. Good squeeze by Ulster. Good scrummage by Callum Black. Penalty against Munster. Terrific Ulster scrum. Is that going to be the most crucial set piece of the evening? What a great concerted effort by the Ulster 8, and particularly by the tight 5, and very particularly by the front row, and very, very particularly by Callum Black. Pienaar finds his touch.
77, Scotty.
Well, BJ Botha seemed to be coming in at an angle, and look at Black. Down he went, and then he straightened, and Ulster squeezed it forward. What a good scrum that was. And Andrew Trimble in raptures behind it. It's not over. 3 minutes to go. Niall Annette. Well taken by Stevenson. When in doubt, throw it to the front of the line out and make it secure. And that's what they've done. Referee will tell them to use it. Pienaar to go down the tram lines on the far side. What a belt he's given it. Here comes Trimble, gathered in by Johnny Murphy. Felix Jones. Munster, where Ulster want them to be, but that could all change. Keatley decides to kick. Pienaar calls. Well taken. Replies, not quite in kind. Has to chase it, he does, and he's got the ball catcher. Felix Jones is nabbed by Ruan Pienaar.
Use it!
O'Connell wants it himself, and he gets it.
Hands white!
Good work by Paul O'Connell, set it up nicely. Duncan Williams. Keatley looks for a break. Callum Black makes the tackle and then gets out of the way. Here come Munster. O'Connell's dropped it. Referee is playing advantage to Ulster. A minute and a half to go. Penalty against Munster. Might even been Paul O'Connell. A frustrated Paul O'Connell.
Yeah, Paul O'Connell trying to atone for his knock-on, and then Alain Rolland telling him to release it, not releasing it, and then the ultimate indignity to follow with the yellow card.
Well, not the end Paul O'Connell would have wished for. He's had a couple of those in his career, but nothing major. He'd grin and he'd shrug and he'd get on with it. So one of Irish rugby's greatest ever players finds himself in the bin. He did knock it forward, and then he went in there and he committed the offence, and has given Ulster the chance not just to win this game, but to deny Munster a losing bonus point.
And Ulster's ambition to finish in that top two and secure a home semi-final, you feel it's going to come down to a number of points at the end of the season, and any point denied is a point gained.
We're in the last minute. Pienaar to clinch the victory. Beautiful kick by Ruan Pienaar. There is time for Munster to restart this game, but the next time the ball goes dead, it's going to be all over.
Time off.
Replacement being made. John Afoa is going off, and Declan Fitzpatrick is coming on.
Time out.
Little dinky, well-placed kick. Oh, gathered in by Munster.
Okay, time is mine.
Have they chance to get something back from this? Ulster should have gathered that. Here's Keatley. Chip kick through, that's gone into touch. That should be full time. The referee says it is full time. And right at the death, Ruan Pienaar has done what he's been doing since he arrived here at Ravenhill. And how lucky Ulster are to have him for the next few seasons. His last penalty clinched the Ulster victory, and equally importantly perhaps denied Munster a losing bonus point. But my word, Ryan, Munster made Ulster sweat in that second half.
It certainly did. A crucial victory for Ulster to get some momentum in the Pro 12, going into the European fixtures, to have that win under their belt. Munster made them work for it. Certainly the first half was probably the best of the action. A number of penalties and individual errors robbed the game of any flow in the second half. But this was about the result for Ulster. They've achieved that. They've got the 4 points. They can move up that Pro 12 table. Most importantly, they can take some confidence into these important fixtures that are about to come.
Wow, what an interprovincial that was. That was old-fashioned Ulster-Munster, as they've been doing for a century and a quarter. 20 points to nil up after, well, 35 minutes. Ulster 20 points to 5 up at half-time, and Munster pegged them back at one stage to 23 points to 19. But the 3 second-half penalties by Ruan Pienaar are absolutely crucial, and Ulster have won this game against the current league leaders and have moved themselves up, have a funny feeling, maybe into even second place. But the full time at Ravenhill by 10 points is Ulster 29 and Munster 19.
Well, what a cracking Irish derby. Thoroughly enjoyable game of rugby. Wasn't perfect by any means, but it was certainly exciting and entertaining. Ulster had the upper hand in the first half with 2 cracking tries by Jared Payne and Darren Cave. But they allowed Munster back into the game just before half-time. 20 points to 5 was the half-time score, and then Munster rumbled on again. 2 more second-half tries, and Ulster were sweating for a while, but it was Ruan Pienaar, the man of the match. 19 points he has scored, and he sealed an excellent Ulster win, 29 points to 19. Former Ireland coach Eddie O'Sullivan and Andy Ward have been enjoying, gentlemen, I have to say, a great game of rugby tonight.
Well, there's no doubt it's the best game of the Christmas season so far in any competition. Really enjoyed it. It was fantastic. Had everything. Had a bit of robustness, a bit of passion, and some good tries. But a relieved Ulster, I'd say, at the end of the day. Very relieved Ulster. They threw Munster a lifeline just for half time, and Munster nearly took it.
Ulster will be delighted that the commitment they showed to hang on and see this game out tonight, Andy, that's been the absolute key thing.
Without a shadow of a doubt. You know, we talked about it at half-time there, that one mistake, we're going to be 50 metres behind. No sooner 2 minutes into the half, it's exactly what happened. We turn over, get a penalty against us, they kick it into the corner, rumble into the corner, and all of a sudden it's game on. So, but it's credit to Ulster, we told them they had to keep playing, and they did keep playing right at the last and awarded themselves a penalty,
Well, Ruan Pinard turned down a heck of a lot of money to move to a French club, signed an extension to his contract to stay with Ulster. Ulster fans are certainly delighted about that. He's the man of the match tonight, and he's talking to Gavin Andrews.
Well, Ruan, congratulations. You're the Rabbit Direct man of the match. There's your ball. How special is that result for Ulster?
Yeah, first I just want to give glory to God who's helped us this season so far. We spoke about getting some intensity back into our play, getting some phases together. I thought we lacked a bit of that the last couple of weeks, and we were disappointed with the way we played, so we knew we had to give it our all tonight, and I think every single guy stepped up, and take my hat off to every single guy tonight.
Christmas is generally a time for good spirits, but the last two performances, how tough